Stop. Oh, I didn't stop it fast enough.
Guys,
I have an update on my phone. And then it takes forever, so now I have to wait. Well, man, updates aren't always fun.
no, but there's a lot of good changes that can happen.
From an update?
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's way easier to do real estate updates because at least then they're consistent.
For us, we do a lot of research and a lot of preparing and studying. So how long is your update?
It still says it's only 12%. 12% out of 100. I think we've got some time to do a podcast. Should we do a real estate update podcast?
Let's do a spring update.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's focus on Minnesota too.
All right,
let's chat about it.
All right, let's chat.
Let's do it. Welcome back to Let's Chat with Jen and Angie. I'm Angie.
And I'm Jen.
Together we are Heart and Home Legacy Group with Edina Realty. Let's talk about some Minnesota real estate market updates because I tell you what, things are shifting as we're getting closer to spring.
Yep, there's some interesting trends for buyers and sellers, and they should really know about it.
Yeah, so big picture in Minnesota is that the market is very stable. It still continues to be stable. A lot of other parts of the country aren't as stable as Minnesota, so keep that in mind. Prices are still holding in many areas, and actually some of them are even rising modestly depending on what area you're in.
Exactly. In the Twin Cities metro, median home prices recently crossed the 400,000 mark for the first time, which shows how strong demand still is in our market.
And statewide, the typical home value is $335,000. Right now, with those values being 2 to 3% over past year, which is still good. So we are seeing appreciation. Just not crazy appreciation like 20 and 21.
I'd call this a very normal market where things are steady and balanced rather than extreme highs, extreme lows. So that's good.
Absolutely. Yeah. Inventory and listings in Minnesota. Inventory is still one of the biggest factors in the Minnesota real estate market. Even though we've seen some improvement, we still have fewer homes for sale than before the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. And that's the key issue. More sellers are finally starting to list because they're realizing that the mortgage rates probably are not going to go back to that 3%. That's lock-in effect is slowly fading away.
But even with more listings, we're still dealing with a housing shortage in the Twin Cities, just like we've talked about on other podcasts here on this channel. Just in the metro area, they're short 50,000 homes.
50,000. Which means when the right home hits the market, especially if it's priced correct, it will move fast.
Yeah, so make sure that you're pre-approved and ready to go so that when that comes on, you look at it and fall in love, you're able to write an offer on it right away. Let's talk about interest rates, that elephant in the room, mortgage rates.
Yeah, so they've been hovering at that 6% range recently, and most forecasts say they'll probably stay somewhere around that percentage rate for the rest of the year.
Which is interesting because buyers are starting to accept that that might be the new normal, which 6% is not a bad interest rate. It's just not the 2 or 3% that we were seeing in the last couple of years, but 6% is an average home rate.
Yeah. Exactly. Instead of trying to time the market, we're seeing buyers focus more on finding the right home and refinancing later if the rates drop.
What buyers are experiencing here in Minnesota? For buyers, the good news is that the market is a little bit less competitive than it was the last 2 years.
Yeah, exactly. Buyers have a little more negotiating power, and we're seeing fewer bidding wars and more opportunities for inspections and contingencies.
But those entry-level homes are still really tight. So make sure if you're an entry-level home buyer that you have all your ducks in a row and ready to jump on that because those houses are going fast.
Yeah, anything under that 350,000 mark, those are still attracting multiple buyers because they're the most affordable options for first-time home buyers.
What sellers need to know in Minnesota? For sellers, the strategy has changed slightly.
Pricing correctly right away is the most important than ever.
And absolutely the last days of throwing a number out and expecting 20 offers is not there. So be very mindful of that price.
And honestly, a well-prepared home, clean, staged and priced right. They are still selling quickly, and sometimes they will go above asking.
Spring market outlook. As we move towards spring, we're expecting more listings to hit the market. Jen and I can attest to that because there's more and more sellers that are starting to reach out.
And look, Minnesota is very different than the rest of the country. Spring is always the busiest season in Minnesota real estate, and this year's going to be no different.
Yes, and experts are also predicting that home prices are going to grow 3 to 5% this year. On average, just to know, 2 to 3% is pretty normal. So it's a healthy, sustainable market.
Overall, we're looking at a balanced market, not a huge buyer's market, not a huge seller's market.
If you're thinking about buying or selling in Minnesota this year, the biggest takeaway is that the market is still strong. It's just more balanced.
And real estate is always local. What's happening nationally might sound dramatic, but Minnesota tends to stay steady compared to other parts of the country.
Yes, we do. And if you're curious what your home might be worth, or you want to talk about purchasing a home in the next year, give us a call, reach out. We are happy to help get you set up on the right path.
And we hope that this information has been helpful. Be sure to follow us, like us, and subscribe.
Yeah, because we have other podcasts on this channel. Like and subscribe, check them out. All of them are going to be really good for a seller, for a buyer. Lots of educational options out there and some fun tours.
Yeah, absolutely. We love doing the podcast, so please subscribe.
Absolutely. All right, and as always,
Stay grounded, stay grateful, and keep building that legacy. Bye.